This is the 17th season of Bass Talk Live with your hosts, Mark Jeffries and Matt Pangrat. BTL is brought to you by Lawrence, Bass Cat Boats, APCO, Duck and Fishing, Strike King Lures, Sunline, Big Bite Baits, Spro, Exo Lures, Yamagatsu, The Bass Tank, and Denali Rods. BTL coming at you. Good Tuesday, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of BTL, where finally Matt and I are going to talk about bass fishing or anything else that we want to talk about. He is back after being on the road for like a month and then came home for a few days. I'm glad to see you remembered how to get to the studio.
It has been a while. The studio looks great. It looks a little bit cleaner, revamped. I've been listening to some of the replays that you've had up, and it seems like you got it dialed in, Mark.
We'll see. There's still a couple of issues that, once again, the engineers are doing research, trying to figure out what the deal is, but duct tape and crazy glue, man.
It sounds good. It looks good. Everything looks great. We're back in action. We have a special guest today. Oh, we have a little secret that's going to make your day that you don't know anything about.
Is it a brand new bowling ball that I'm going to drill out pin axes?
What? Is that the new technique that you learned?
Yeah. Did you see the comments? Somebody wanted to know how I did in Waxahachie over the weekend. I'll just say this, and then we'll get into Matt, because there's no story there. The bottom line is this, all right? I'm not good enough to be at the level that you need to be to participate on these PBA 50 regionals. Obviously, Chris Barnes, he won. He's a Hall of Famer. The top 12 was absolutely stacked.
He's 50?
Yeah.
He doesn't look 50.
Oh, that's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Is it like
dude.
Mickelson playing the senior tour right now?
Yeah. So, hey, it was all on me. I'm still trying to learn stuff. I only missed one spare in 8 games. I averaged like 208 and wasn't even close. But totally on me. And I'm doing what's necessary to try and learn this game, because we've said this a zillion times, dude. It's not where you are, kind of like in fishing. It's not where you are. It's what you're using and what the pattern is and how you utilize the tools to catch fish. Same way in bowling, man.
But doesn't old school stuff still work sometime? Or is it?
Yes. But part of the problem is the old school stuff, because of the way that the licensing works now in the PBA, you can't use.
Really?
If it's not approved. Yeah.
I mean, if it's approved, though, there's stuff. Aren't there certain balls and stuff that like have been good for 20 or 30 years that no one uses, but you can still do well on them?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
Well, that's not the same in fishing.
Yeah, but if you're not dialed in all aspects, you're probably not going to catch it.
I wonder
Agree
if
with
there's.
that?
Well, I don't know. Let's make a call. Let's talk about a little old school stuff.
What?
Hey, hello?
Yeah, I disagree with that, Mark. I think you can still catch them on an old school Carolina rig, especially at Lake Norman in September. The greatest month to fish ever.
Now, who is it? Is this Charlie Hartley?
Bass Talk Live's biggest fan.
This is
Hartley.
This is Charlie Hartley. This is coming off of a top 10 performance on Lake Norman, where you threw what?
I only threw it for Mark to make sure he would cheer up and feel better and quit being down. I forced myself to drag that Carolina rig across that rock pile, and it was pure bliss, Mark. I wish you'd have been there with me. I could feel every rock on the bottom. I knew them by name. For 8 hours a day, 3 days, I drugged the ball and chain and loved every second of it. Won $7,000 and beat my hero, Matt Pangrat, at Lake Norman.
Now let's take this a step
That
further,
is
Charlie
awesome,
Hartley.
Charlie.
What were you throwing on the back of that Carolina rig?
What do you throw on a Carolina rig? A 6-inch green pumpkin zoom lizard with the tail dipped chartreuse. Rocket science.
All right, thanks, Charlie. That's all we needed from you.
Thank you, Charlie.
That's the most I've heard him laugh in 3 weeks. Thank
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Have a good morning.
We need to get him on the show.
Now, if that
Literally.
doesn't make your board,
Oh, dude, that was awesome. That was awesome. And I'd heard that he caught him on a Carolina rig. Didn't watch or anything. I just, in glancing at some stuff, I'd heard that he caught him on a Carolina rig. So that was cool. Did you throw it at all?
no. Like I said, I'll have my videos covered out. I had my co-angler at Thousand Islands cut off the Carolina rig,
Yeah,
and then we started
yeah.
catching him. But anyway, I heard Charlie had caught him on a Carolina rig at Norman. I knew that would probably make your morning.
Yeah,
So.
I did see that. And thank you, Charlie, for cheering me up. Actually, things are going much better.
I guess the volume was a little too low. We could hear him fine, though.
We could. I don't know what
It was Charlie Hartley telling Mark he caught him on a Carolina rig, for those who weren't able to hear it.
What did he finish?
9th.
Very nice.
Yeah, he made the top 10. He was super pumped. Every time I see him on the water, I wave to him. He waves back.
One of the best raps in the history of raps.
The snakeskin ranger wrap.
Yeah.
He's had that thing forever.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So anyway, just to put a button on that, next one's not until November. There's only one more PBA 50, so we'll see, man. I'll try and get dialed in from an equipment standpoint, but no excuses. When you don't have what you need and you control your destiny on what you have, that's all on you. And it was all on me, and I'll go on down the road and keep punching away. I'm just glad it doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean, it's not like I'm dumping, $1,000 every time I go out there and bowl a regional.
It is.
So
I broke even over the last 2 opens.
that's good.
Cost me about $6,000 to fish the last 2 opens, and that's about what I won. So
I lost $240 for the entry fee, so it is what it is.
we got some new. Well, I guess they're new.
Yeah.
David Williams wins the Southern Opens. I don't know if you talked about. Did you talk
We
about
did
this
not.
yesterday?
No, we did not.
David Williams wins the Southern Opens. Obviously, he's a angler that's been around. He's fished a lot of tours. He's won a lot of stuff again. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes back. And then Jacob Fouts, who actually was a Carhartt Bassmaster College Series winner. I think he guides on Chickamauga. He finished in 2nd in the points. So that's another college angler who has competed in the Classic that those guys have molded into an Elite Series pro. And then this is really cool. This guy, and I don't know him really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know him better than he knows me.
Who is that?
Josh Douglas. He's got it down on all aspects.
He
The
does.
social media, the Shields deal. He guides on Mille Lacs. I think we've had him on the show before.
How old is he?
Minnesota dude. I want to say 30s.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. Been trying for a long time. Fishes the pro circuit. And he finished in 3rd with 545. And it was really cool. I kind of forgot what it was like to be around the energy of the guys that are either trying to qualify, requalify, make the Classic, not. Because wasn't that one of your favorite days when we went to all the Elite Series seasons?
Who's in, who's out?
You'd have guys walking around with their wives. Everybody turned into an Einstein numbers wise. With you carry the 1 and the 2, and you're in by 2 points, and you
Pencils behind the ear,
but
man.
you don't want to tell a guy that he's into the Classic when he's not, and they don't know what to do because they're just been fishing.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot about that because we haven't been out there for the last 2 or 3 years at every single event, like the last event, watching, am I in the Classic? Am I out? Am I requalified? Am I not? But Douglas was just walking around with their dog and his wife going, I think I'm in, I think I'm not. Ronnie says I'm in, but I don't think so. But then I have to fish tomorrow. And then the relief when he was like, dude, even if I finish 10th, I'm in. I'm in the Elite Series. I've qualified for the Elite Series. It was really cool just to kind of witness that moment to see where he realized, dude, I just accomplished my goal, my dream to fish the Elite Series.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Josh Douglas there.
So all 3 of those will definitely accept.
I don't know. I don't know. I have not heard from any of them. I would assume. I mean, they're all in the position to. I mean, David Williams been there, done that. Jacob Fouts this is what he does. He fishes, and then I don't think Josh Douglas would be fishing if he didn't plan on going to the Elite Series.
All right, here's my question. Any of those 3, are they fishing all 9?
No. So this is interesting. So 5th in the points, Sam George, he's fishing all 9. Matsuyuki Matsushita, he's fishing all 9. He finished 6th. Joey Nani is only fishing 6 of them. Andy Herber, he's fishing. Andy Rebar, everybody knows him. His name is spelled Hribar.
Okay.
So for the first half of the year, I said Andy Herber, and then I thought it was Rebar, and then I thought it was Herber. I think it's Rebar.
Okay.
Because all the Minnesota
I have
guys
no
that I
idea.
know him, but then I can't ever remember. And then, no, so there's no double qualifiers. Porosnik had a good chance in both of the Northern and the Southern, but he's going to have to qualify in the overall or through the Centrals. So, but we've got the Northerns with Jonathan Kelly, Mike Iaconelli, and Alex Redwine somehow magically all tying with 549 points a couple weeks ago. That's just an insane number there. And then the Southern opens, and then there's only been one Central.
Okay, so on the Northerns, are there any
No.
that were fishing all 9?
No.
Okay, so no double qualifiers.
No double qualifier, so it's just 3 and 3 right there.
Well, you still have the Centrals.
Right,
So-
but as of now, they're not going down the list on the Northerns or the Southerns.
Okay.
I don't know what they'll do if Iaconelli doesn't fish. Will they go down to JT Tompkins? I don't know how they'll do that. Will they go down the list for the Elite Series? I'm not sure what that is. But then in the Centrals, it looks like it's just going to be the 3-3-3 and then the 3 overall.
Okay. Interesting. We are definitely going to get into your performance. Great performance this past
Rebar.
weekend.
Yeah, see, that's Rich
Rebar.
Lindgren. He's a Minnesota dude. Rebar. I was right.
Yeah.
Rebar.
Anyway, we're going to get into your stuff after we have our guest on. We're going to have Justin Hamner on, and we'll get into his season and then some of the stuff that he has in the works for 2022. And then we'll dive into Matt's adventures. But
We got to mention the auction.
yeah.
The Bass Fishing Hall of Fame auction. Remember we had JD last year who came and we went bowling and it took him, he got on a crazy topwater bite at 10 killer.
Yeah.
So we're doing the same thing, the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. You're on you're a voting member, right?
Yes.
Still, I don't know how those terms work.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm on the board of directors. I'm going to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame banquet. That's kind of why I'm back this week. We have a meeting tomorrow and then the banquet's on Thursday. But they're doing the auction to raise money for the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame banquet. All sorts of jerseys, trips, hunts, events, items up on the BidPal site. You can, I'll have a link on my social media. Can we throw a link for that on the Bass Zone site after the show?
Yeah, I'll get that done today in class.
I'm going to make sure that I give the right.
What did we go for last year? Do you
I
remember?
want to say we went for like $2,600, something like that.
Yeah.
I think you can also access it through the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame website, which is the bassfishinghof.com. I'm trying to see if I can see a link on here. Anyway, there'll be a link either on my social media, Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, or basszone.com. Dude, we're up to $3,000.
What?
We're up to $3,006.
I mean, Gene and I talked about it last week when he was on, but I haven't looked at it. I had no idea.
We're up
When
to
did
three.
it start?
We're up to three. Like last week.
Huh.
We're up to $3,006.
That's more than we went for last year.
Yeah, Gene's got to give a speech, doesn't he?
He does.
He's getting inducted.
Yeah, well deserving too. And by the way, if you have not watched or listened to part 1 and part 2 with Gene Gilliland and you're interested in fish care and fizzing fish, that is a set of shows you do not want to miss. You need to go back and watch or listen to both of those shows. Some great info from Gene, and he told a couple of stories or two also.
He's got a few stories.
Yeah, he's seen a lot in his 30-plus years being involved in this game and being involved with the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife for so many years. So good stuff on that. Make sure you go back and check it out. What else, man?
I'm trying to find this link.
Do I need to find it real quick? It'll take me like 2 seconds.
Yeah, where would this link be? I'm on bassfishinghof.com. I see more information about the 2021 banquet. I see all the inductees. I see the latest news. How to get your tickets for it.
Let's see here.
Banquet photos, membership.
Did it end already?
I don't think so.
Come on, man. You don't know these things? You're on
No.
the board and you have no idea?
I should have.
Huh. Yeah, I don't see it either. What's up with that?
I don't know. Let me pull it up through my emails. Now I'm curious. You know what I mean?
Well, I know it was through a
BidPal.
provider
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I'm going to do this. Let's see if I can do this real quick, and then we'll take a break and come back.
Bidpal.net.
No. Hang on. I think I have it here.
You have it?
Yeah,
Because
let
I
me
can
see.
send you the direct link.
No, hang on. I need to share a screen. Right here. Let me get rid of our names. Yeah, there it is right there. And the web address, I don't know if you can see it or not. And I don't know why they don't have a link on there. Then it
The
says,
auction closes on September 30th.
but I did not see a link on the main page. But it's bassfishinghof.com/banquet-induction ceremonies. Induction-ceremonies. Why is there not a link on the main page, Matt?
I don't know.
So
Is
it
there
says,
not?
click here to go to auction page.
Wait, so you go
And there you go.
bassfishinghalloffame.com, right?
Well, I didn't. I did a Google search for Bass Fishing Hall of Fame.
Okay, here it is. No. Yes.
I did a search for Bass Fishing Hall of Fame auction 2021, and I was able to get the link right there. Are they communicating with you?
No. Okay, so here I found it. Okay.
Is it on the main page?
No, so you just go to Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, bassfishinghof.com.
All right, I'm there. See, you can see it.
Right.
I'm there.
And then you click more info about the 2021 banquet.
What?
Right there, the first thing that's there. Right there. See? Right there, underneath it.
Right
See,
here?
this is what we run into with Bass Zone too.
No,
with
that's
the-
not it, dude. I have this big ginormous
right.
thing that says
So then click
here.
on. So you that pulls up right, and then
Yeah.
you click on the Bid Pass HOF 2021,
Okay.
and then you click over to the side where it says Browse Items.
Oh, good grief! This
Browse
is
items. Then you
all
click.
items,
Then you click All Items.
and there's all the stuff.
There's all the stuff you can bid on. And dude, this stuff is like very reasonable right now. Like you can get a bunch of cool stuff.
Well, it's up. You see it?
Yeah.
I'm going through
You're
it
scrolling.
right now.
You're scrolling through it.
What
all sorts
page
of
are
rock-
we on? 4?
No, we're on page 2. There's something that I was wondering if you wanted to bid on with me, and we'd split it because there's 2 of them. Is that something you might be interested in?
Well, tell me what it is first.
Okay, let's get to page 2. Bunch of AFCO stuff.
Okay, I'm on page
Bunch of
2. I'm looking for
sunglasses.
us. Where?
Scroll down. There's a
What
trip
happened
with
here?
Stetson
There it is, right
Blaylock,
there.
Luke Palm.
$3,006 right there already.
Yes,
Holy guacamole!
but we get co-host with you and me for a day on BTL.
Yeah,
Then, you're helping with the travel and accommodations.
yeah,
Then we go bowling, an evening of bowling.
yeah.
And then I go fishing with whoever wins. And I'll tailor that to if you want to go giant crappie fishing. If we do it in the winter, we can do bass fishing. I could show you the dink and dunk. Whatever.
All right, what was the item you
suits
want
your
to split?
fancy. Let me scroll down here. I just think it would be cool. Hold on. Go to page 3. Scroll
it's
down
on
on
page
page
3?
3. Oh, so there's 2. So right now, this is a value bid right here. You can get James Overstreet for a day right now for $500. That's wrong right now. He's offering a day with him, his camera and photographic skills. It can be used to shoot a product, your pet, a family, or on the water. A day of fishing, whatever you want to capture.
That's pretty cool.
You get your thumb drive of photos, and it needs to just be within 6 hours of Benton, Arkansas.
Okay. 6 hours?
No, within 6 hours, or you're kind of responsible for your travel. But you get to spend a day with James Overstreet right now. That one, I think that's a...
We're 6 hours away, aren't we?
Okay, so that was one that I thought would be interesting. The other one's an item. It's an inanimate object. It's not nearly as interesting as James. It's literally a bar stool. Okay, so $355. Go to the last page.
The last page? Okay. hang
That
on.
set of Bass Cat bar stools, that would look awesome.
Okay, we might have to do something.
Do you see
on
those
that.
right
Yeah,
there?
I see them
They're
right
only
there.
for $355 right now.
Yeah.
And then there's also that 50th anniversary Bass Cat package that's next to it. Like,
Yeah.
look at some of that stuff that would look cool in the back dropping stuff
that's
behind
cool.
on BTL.
Yeah.
So those are the two that I was interested in, along with, and I mean, you got a bunch of different stuff that's
All
here.
right.
You can look it all up. So
We'll talk about that. That's
I mean, Overstreet's. I would think Overstreet would be way more valuable than we that spent it a day with us, wouldn't you, Mark?
I would think so.
I mean, that's a living legend.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna try and get Charlie on BTL really, really soon.
Sorry you couldn't hear the phone call. I planned it all up. As long as you heard it.
I heard it, man.
Made your day.
That was a fantastic gesture to give me a chuckle or two. So
Hamner's under 35. He's on the Elite Series.
Yeah.
Do you think Justin Hamner throws a Carolina rig?
No.
Okay. We did not talk about this pre-show.
Probably doesn't even know how to rig one up.
He's actually giggling right now when we mentioned the Carolina rig, just slowly shaking his head.
He has no idea. No idea.
Does he know how to tie one up?
No.
That is the question.
No.
You have to know how to tie one up.
Do you know how to tie one up?
Yes. You go wait. If the Jeffries method for tying it up is weight, then it's craft bead,
Yeah.
like a plastic craft bead from Joann Fabrics that protects the knot.
Hobby
Lobby.
Yeah.
And then bead and then another craft.
No bead.
You just go one craft
Yeah.
deal. That gives it a little click, but it protects the
swivel.
knot. Then you
Yeah.
just go old school brass swivel.
No.
You do the
That
Spro
change- yeah.
barrel swivel.
Change that. Yeah.
Okay. Then your leader line.
Fluorocarbon.
Oh, you do fluoro.
Yeah.
Okay. Old school would be mono because fluoro sinks, so it keeps the bait up a little bit more.
No, I use fluoro.
And then offset hook, not an EWG.
No.
Offset.
Yeah.
Number 3
Most of the time.
with the 90-degree bend in it.
Yeah.
And then a chartreuse pepper centipede.
Which is kind of the original Ned rig, but in a Carolina style. Because think about it, it's a little bitty piece of plastic that big. When you really think about it. Except it just kind of meanders behind the weight.
Okay. But I had it kind of down.
It's close. But I don't think Justin's ever thrown it. You think he ever threw it last year in the Elite Series? Heck no. Oh, he's shaking his head. We might have to hear about that. Huh. No Carolina rig for you at Norman, though.
No.
We got to get into the deets on that.
Yeah, we'll do that after we have Hamner on. He's got an interesting story.
All right.
Like, he went from nothing. I think it would be cool to try this out, local, fish with his dad a lot. And then all of a sudden, like, boom, he's on the Elite Series. He's got a family. He's got to figure out how to do all this stuff, just chucked into the fire right off the bat. And then if you look at the stats in 2021, really impressive on how he handled that.
Yeah, I agree. All right,
Made the
taking a
classic.
break. Yep.
Barely. He almost got.
That's all right.
He almost got COVIDed. You know where I mean? Like where they get
It's
to drop
okay,
it and then
man.
the points are redistributed.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have any tournaments that he stunk in, so his drop, like other people jumped him. I think he said he dropped 10 spots in the classic Angler of the Year points when everybody got their drop.
Yeah.
10.
But he's in.
He's in. That's all that matters. He's got a chance to win it on Lake Hartwell. And I've talked to him a little bit about it and his style and how he grew up. Dude, it would not surprise me at all if he is right in the mix.
All right. We'll talk
Trying
about
to
that.
keep Hank from going back to back to back.
All right, we'll talk about that. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute.
Elite FS puts the full range of Lowrance fish finding tools at your fingertips. Find fish with active imaging 3-in-1 with Fish Reveal. Target fish with active target live sonar and watch fish react to your lure as it happens. Built-in C-Map Contour Plus charts make it easy to find key fishing areas. But best-in-class charts and powerful sonar is only the beginning. It's easy to build your fully networked FS system. From sonar and waypoint sharing to controlling the Ghost trolling motor and power poles. Lowrance Elite FS. Targeting fish just got easier.
Basscat's legendary 20-foot platform has been paired with angler-approved accessories for 2021. Puma FTD features the proven hull used by many of the top names in bass fishing today, backed by a transferable lifetime warranty. The Puma FTD boasts a full team deck concept which enhances efficiency for you and your tournament partners. Turnkey tournament winning performance. The Puma FTD SP from Basscat.
So, you're looking to buy fishing electronics, huh? Are you also looking for true experts to help guide you through it? Well, at the Bass Tank, you've come to the right place. We are live forward-facing sonar pioneers with thousands of hours spent learning through winning trophies, cashing checks, and just having fun. Whatever brand you need, we have it. We offer free shipping, and we have 2 financing options available. Our experts are here to help you. Call us today or visit thebasstank.com.
Preparation is key to success. And that preparation starts well before you ever hit the water. You're only as strong as your connection to the fish, and your line is that critical connection. Confidence in your line every minute of every day on the water is a necessity, and failure, it's not an option. Sunline makes the fluorocarbon, nylon, and braided lines to give you the strength to guarantee your confidence.
Everybody loves to chase bass on the water. But is your most valuable asset protected when it's not on the water? Empire Covers can preserve your bass boat against even the harshest conditions. When the storm is coming, that bass boat needs to be protected. Check out EmpireCovers.com for all your cover needs. Empire Covers is the ultimate solution when it comes to protecting that asset. Empire Covers is the ultimate solution in easy protection for your truck, for your boat, for your car, anything that needs to be protected from the elements. BTL listeners can receive free shipping plus an extra 15% off their entire order on EmpireCovers.com. Just use the promo code BTL at checkout. Empire Covers. Protect what you love.
There's one.
You know what works. Now you need a bunch of them so you don't run out on your next fishing trip. The Big Bite Pro Packs feature 25 baits per pack at a price far below that of having to buy 5 packs of regular baits. Now the Pro Pack has a big brother, the Mega Pack. The Mega Pack features 100 of your favorite baits.
With these, one bag is usually plenty to get through the day. It helps me stay organized, helps me save money, helps me catch more fish.
All of us on the Pro Tournament Trail use Gamakatsu hooks.
Why?
Because they are absolutely the best.
It's not about how many bites you get.
It's how many you put in the boat.
Gamakatsu makes hooks for every fishing style.
We didn't come this far to lose fish.
Did you?
For more information, visit gamakatsu.com.
All right, we are back. Matt is back in studio, and it is time to go to our special guest. And excited to talk to him. First time on BTL, right? First time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the last, apparently.
We'll get into that. All right, let's bring him in now. Justin, how you doing, man?
What's happening, guys?
Just glad to have Matt back in studio. I'm absolutely shocked that he remembered how to make his way to Moore, Oklahoma. Did you use your GPS, Matt?
No, but I'll be in studio all day because I noticed, I've actually have it pulled up. I noticed that you've got all of the computers are fixed, yes, including the editing software. So I'll be editing furiously the rest of the day before then heading up to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame.
All right, there you have it. Justin, man, great to have you on. Thank you for taking time out. And you had a decent year this year, man.
Yeah, I guess. It felt like it was terrible, to be honest with you. I mean, it seemed like every tournament, it was just something was happening, especially these local tournaments, the Alabama tournaments. I mean, we had Pickwick, just crazy flood, never seen anything like that. Just have to scratch everything. And Neely Henry was the same way. It was pretty crazy.
All right. So, unlike what Matt thinks I'm going to talk about, I'm actually going to talk about the positive today. I'm changing over a new leaf. I don't want to hear about the crash and burn. I want to pick your brain and see if there's one thing from a positive aspect from this season that you took away that is definitely going to carry over into 2022.
Honestly, it would probably be, I felt like I had such a bad season and then actually still made the Classic and, points wise had a decent year, made a little bit of money. So, I mean, it really helped my confidence, that we can do this.
Yeah. Matt?
I noticed if you look at at your stats, you finished the year really strong. I mean, you started off with a 14th place finish on the Tennessee River, and then just some ho-hum. I mean, you were still getting some of your entry fees back, some of your money back. You weren't tanking, but you weren't contending, and then you went 36th, 10th, and 45th to end the year. Ended up getting you in the Classic. Just kind of talk about it as a flow. Did it seem like the year went fast? Did it seem like it went slow? I mean, did you get to Fisheries and were like, man, I don't know how I'm going to catch him here? Or just overall, talk about how the year flowed for your first year.
It was a blur. I mean, the way that I understand why they did it just because of all the COVID stuff, but everything was so packed in, and it was, I still have a job back home. So it'd be a tournament, be gone for, a little over a week, come back home, try to cut as much grass as I could in a week, and then be on the road again. And it was insane. Yeah. Everything went by so quick. Then we kind of, had the Classic, had a good little break. I could actually get caught up with my work and get things ready for when we made that northern swing, and that helped a ton. I mean, I could relax a little bit, enjoy the weather up there. Gosh, that place is so nice up there. But it was crazy how fast everything just went by. But then when we got up to that northern, I mean, I fished Oneida one time like 2 years ago. And that's all the northern fishery experience I have. And when we got on Champlain, I don't know, it felt right.
You're talking to me a little bit about how you found him on Champlain, and I think that's really interesting. You don't have to go into all the details if you think you got a little secret something figured out, but I thought that was really cool how you were kind of able to take something from Alabama and apply it to Lake Champlain.
Absolutely, and I feel like that's what you got to do. I don't want to really go to a whole lot of details with that one yet. I don't know if anybody's figured that one out.
Okay, so but, basically, here, I'll talk. Basically, you were able to find something that you did in Alabama and apply it to Champlain. We'll take this direction in a turn another direction then. A lot of fisheries on here that you weren't super familiar with. How much of those fisheries were you able to fish your comfort zone and apply stuff that you've grown up doing to brand new fisheries?
Actually, like with the Champlain deal, I've never even done that around here. So it was just going through research, and from everything I could find, I figured out, if I could figure out that deal, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to figure it out. And if I can, it could be something special. And it almost was. I mean, it was the top 10, but everywhere I go, I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit. I feel like I'm pretty versatile. I feel comfortable doing everything besides maybe a Carolina rig. Mark, I've thrown a Carolina rig so much so when I was growing up with my dad, that's all he did. It didn't matter what time of year, where we were at, tying on the Carolina rig and just do it all day, every day. And so when I finally, got on my own, doing my own thing, that would be the last thing I would tell him. I despised it.
You were bored out of your mind, weren't you? Absolutely.
I had to do something different.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I actually did use it on Champlain and St. Lawrence River. So.
Wow. The last two events of the year, 10th and 45th.
Yep. And didn't catch a fish on it, though. So.
Why did you even mention that? Why did you have
I called
to mention
some on
that?
it in practice, but they say that they bite that. And the little speed crawl up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it lasted about maybe 2 casts on the St. Lawrence River before I hung it up and popped it off. So,
jeez. Yeah.
But I did catch fish on that in practice.
How fast can you tie its Carolina rig based upon your experience with your dad, though? You probably do it pretty quick, can't you?
Oh yeah. We got it down.
All right.
I used to actually I think it was Chickamauga a couple years ago. I was on a real good Carolina rig bite on those ledges and stuff, and I do the deal where I'll pre-rig them. I'll get like a foam noodle or something, pool noodle, and go ahead and rig them up the night before. So tournament day, all I have to do is put the weight on, put the beads on, and then tie it to the swivel.
Gotcha.
So I already have my leader and everything hooked.
All sorts of stuff up north I noticed when I stopped to get tackle. In the walleye section, there's all sorts of like little contraptions that you can wrap your pre-made leaders around for your crawler harnesses. And I was thinking Jeffries would be in sea rig heaven in this.
Dude, I'm not that one-sided. Jeez.
He does the top water too.
Yeah. I have some versatility. All right, one more question, then I'll send it to you, Matt. I'm really curious, especially for somebody that had success this year. You dipped your toes in that pool of almost being able to earn a blue trophy. From a versatility standpoint, how versatile can you tell the fans that you believe that you really have to be on the Elite Series to be successful? In other words, if you get dialed in on just your strengths, because we have guys on this show all the time, Justin, fish your strength, fish your strength, fish your strength. Well, you tell me, is it better to fish your strength or is it better to be more versatile on the Elite Series? What are your thoughts?
I think it goes both ways, to be honest with you. I feel like, so one of my things, I'm, try to be as versatile as I can. And I think sometimes it can hurt me, but more times than not, it's going to keep me consistent, keep me in it. But then you have guys like Hackney, and he's pretty one-sided, but he's so good at it that he can make that happen anywhere around the country. So I feel like if you're doing what you're doing, you're comfortable with, it might not necessarily be an exact technique, but if you're comfortable with just sticking to one pattern everywhere you go and you perfect it and get it down and feel comfortable doing it, you can make it happen. I mean, all these fisheries that we're going to, there's fish shallow, there's fish deep, pretty much year round. You can fish your strengths a lot of these places. I mean, these are world-class fisheries we're going to. So I really do feel like you can a lot of times do what you want and still be consistent enough to stay in it. And then whenever those tournaments come around where it's actually the deal, that's when they knock it out.
Awesome. All right, real quick, Matt, I want to address this comment over on basshunt.com. Ray, let me look into that. That will be discussed in a future show, but I got to do some research on that and get my facts straight before we talk about it. All right, go ahead, Matt.
I'll have to scroll back and see what Ray said. I mean, you're not like a 22-year-old guy, but I mean, you were a rookie. You're what, 30, 31 years old?
Yeah, 30.
30.
Gosh.
What's the interaction been like with the Christies, the Hackneys, Jay Yellis, those Rick Clunn, those guys who have been around for a long time? Like, they cool with you? You friends with any of them?
I think Hackney just he looked at me one time and stared into my soul. That was a good interaction. He didn't even have to say anything.
Is that a real thing then? Elite Series rookie, you roll in an area you're practicing. Like, is angler intimidation not like overtly, but I mean, does that like literally roll through your head? Were there times where you were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna find a different pocket"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Probably. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'm a weird fisherman. I'm usually just trying to get out of the way of everybody. So I'm not necessarily avoiding certain people. If I want to fish it, I mean, I'd be fishing it. But at the same time, you're like, I don't want him to think I'm just came in here because I saw him or something like that. Might swing back here tomorrow or something. But no, Everybody was great. It was pretty cool. Like the first tournament, down there at St. John's River, as soon as I dumped my boat in, like Polinick, he comes straight to me. He's like, "Hey, want to introduce myself? I'm Brandon Polinick." And I was like, "Yeah, I knew that." But he was cool, and introduced himself. You never need anything, just holler at me. So it's really been great. I can't say that everybody has been that welcoming, but I haven't had any issues out of anybody. That's for sure.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Toughest part or easiest part or toughest or of having a young family, try to have your own business, make the Elite Series, and not, I mean, I don't personally know you, but I mean, just based on the conversations that we've had, not just be like, oh, there's $100,000, let's go fish it. Like, I mean, you are doing, just talk about what that's like. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff in your life that has happened in the past 16 months.
Yeah, I need about 12 days in a week. Not 7 isn't enough. It's insane. But it was tough. Like, so me getting started on this, I had a good steady job working for the university, and it's not like I've not always known or tried to prepare to be able to try to make the Elite Series. That's always been my dream. But it got to the point out there where I couldn't fish the opens or do what I wanted to do unless I left. And it was a leap of faith. There's no doubt about it. So I leave the university. It was in March of, I guess, 2019. And my wife was already pregnant. The baby was due April. And my first open of the year, or that was the first year I fished the open. So I think we already had one tournament before my daughter came along, but it was crazy. So I leave the university, have her baby. I started my own grass cutting business, and just so I could have the time off to be able to go and fish the opens.
Wow.
It was a grind. Still a grind.
Yeah, that's definitely some challenges, not just on the water, but off the water too. Spending time with the family, taking care of a brand new established business that you had going on. But I'm curious, you have all this going on, but now you've kind of had some time to really establish your brand and position your brand with companies both inside and outside the industry from a sponsorship standpoint. From what I have researched, and if you feel comfortable, you can elaborate on this, the support that you've received from the community, friends and family has been really enormous. The amount of sponsorship dollars that have come in have been, let's just say, challenging to generate the amount of revenue
Minimal.
that's necessary. Yeah, to be able to do this and do it at an elite level. But what I find very, very cool is that you have had the community and your friends and family rally around you for you to be able to do what you do. What can you say about that?
I mean, you nailed it. There's no way I could have done this without them. And I know you hear everybody say that, but like literally no way, because I wouldn't have been able to pay for the entry fees without literally friends and family. I mean, I had, a lot of my best friends, Trent and Jimbo, they get up this group. It was called Team Tuscaloosa, where I had guys that I've, fished all these local night tournaments with and all this stuff that are just donating whatever they had. I mean, I've had guys walk up and hand me a $20 bill and like, I wish I could do more, but, hope this helps. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
And just all the guys, the local support I had, it couldn't have done it without them, because that's where every dollar came from this year to get me going.
All right, Matt?
How much has your dad influenced your style? I know you mentioned it. All he did was throw the Carolina rig day after day. But there's a number of guys on the Elite Series who, official. I look at what KJ and Jeff Queen kind of have going on, and I know Chris Johnson and Corey Johnson's dad, big time up there up north. But did he have a big influence on your style of fishing at all, or?
Yeah, he had a huge influence. So now I just do exact opposite of everything he taught me. So we've never argued in the boat, ever.
Really?
Yeah. Every cast.
Kind of like what Matt and I would do.
No, we get along in the boat. Do we not?
Yeah, I think so, because I just kind of follow the leader.
Well, we fished a lot when I first started working with you, and then I would just do whatever you did. And then we kind of had the years. Now it's just we always fish against each other once a year.
Yeah, but we're in separate boats.
But then you run the show when we go striper fishing.
Yeah, but you know what? If we did fish a team tournament, we should do this and document this.
Oh,
you would be, you would be it. If I had to go out and, throw a spinning rod and reel, I'm okay with that. I do whatever I got to do to contribute to the win or getting a check.
Here's
or
what
whatever.
we need to do. We need to fish. We need to find
big a deal.
2 weekends. This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And one weekend, I go in your boat and we run your show. All we Carolina rig, top water. I'm literally just do what you want to do, which is what I'm uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
And we document and we do it. Then the next weekend, you get in with me, and it's spinning rods and wacky worms and drop shots. And then we run my pattern. You find a jackpot on the same lake back-to-back weeks, and then we put it together in a video, and you get both perspectives.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I think that'd be cool.
I don't fish that much anymore.
Yeah,
but
you do.
I'm game for that.
You've been fishing a ton lately. Way more than you have.
At Lake X, and that's it.
Well, no. Dude, I've gotten in the boat with you recently and stuff, and your game is solid right now.
Yeah.
You had a couple years where you just went occasionally, but you're solid right now. You're fishing well.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm game for that. We'll just have
Who
to
would you
find
fish
some.
a team tournament with on the Elite Series or MLF or anyone? If you just pick anybody in the world that you had to fish a team tournament with. 1, pick a guy who you think you would fish really well with and have the best chance to win. 2, who you think you'd have the most fun with.
Patrick.
Patrick Walters.
Really?
I don't know if we'd ever win any money. I feel like we fish pretty good together, but gosh, we have fun on the water when we get together. Something's gonna happen. I don't know.
How'd you get to know him?
Ooh, it was through a co-angler that I met that fished with me in a tournament, and he was good friends with him. He's like, hey, he's trying to make it to the elites, blah blah blah. You should hook up with him. And we met for, I think it was out on Logan Martin. He was coming to practice for an open. Went up there to fish with him, and it was one of those stepbrother moments. Did we just become best friends? Yep. And I don't know, it's crazy. Ever since then, it's just we've been doing it. So the following year, I started trying to fish for the opens. Stayed with him. He's like, dude, just stay with me. And so stayed with him and his dad, and it was they've been a huge part of this as well. They have helped me out a ton to be able to. Patrick's gave me so many contacts. People in the industry, get to know them, but at the same time, even this year, I stayed in his camper 3 or 4 of the tournaments because I didn't have anywhere to stay. So, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, we would have a ball, and we fish so similar. It'd be good.
All right, man. What's the one stop you have circled on the schedule for next year?
Oahe.
Wow. Really?
I can't.
Why is that?
I'm hoping that deal that Matt was talking about earlier. That's why I didn't want to go into too much detail.
No juice there.
From the research I've looked at, it looks like it's going to set to where that could happen. I have no idea about it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting answer, because most of the time when we ask that question, people are dreading to go there. Right, Matt? I mean, I'm not over-exaggerating that. They're just like, oh, we got to go back there.
Oahe's not typically the destination, but then if you look at all the guys who went up and pre-practiced, it seemed like
that's because they were trying to figure it out.
Well, it seems like I saw a lot of like 6 and 5, 6, 7 pounders. Like if went up there, it's like guys just caught the crap out of them. And the first time it was kind of a unknown, but yeah, it's cool. That place is like fishing the surface of the moon because I've covered that first tournament up there. Yeah. It's literally like fishing the surface of the moon. And then people are shocked when they see a bass boat because it's all guys trolling for walleye.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's a cool place. It's just...
It is cool.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
That's why I'm so excited. Have no service for a week. That'd be great.
Nobody bothering you?
Yeah.
Just go fish, man. Focus on the task at hand. Kind of like that. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to help out Justin next year. And in getting this set up, we originally had him scheduled to go on when all the chaos was happening here in the studio. And in talking to him to get the date set up the first time, I said, you know what, man? I said, would you have any interest in being a guest on BTL during the weeks of the Elite Series in 2022? Just kind of come on, be a regular, give us an indication without giving up the total juice on what's going down at all of the Elite Series stops in 2022. And he said, yeah. So we are going to have Justin on probably the final day of practice. Once you take care of business, sometime during the final day of practice on that morning, just to kind of give the fans an indication of what's going on the body of water that you have during that Elite Series event. And we'll call it, no pun intended, we'll call it Hamner time. Not hammer time, but Hamner time.
I like it.
And from what I understand, you're still good with that, right, Justin?
Absolutely. I've got, what is it, the MC Hammer, the big wind pants, parachute pants. I'll be on the front ready.
A lot of people don't even know who MC Hammer is. Do you know who that is, man?
Well, I had the crazy pants growing up.
Did you really?
But I was like a generation after it. I just thought they were cool.
Yeah.
I had like purple ones.
Not
I still think it's cool.
Hamner time.
Hamner time. Is there any story behind the painting behind you, or is that just an artistic piece?
Oh, yeah. That's just a beautiful artistic piece my wife did.
Your wife painted that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I wondered if there's a story behind it.
Yeah.
It's not a great story, but the best story is my tackle room is such a mess right now, trying to get everything like back organized from this chaotic season that we just ain't even gonna go in there.
Hey, can you get?
Might as well display my beautiful wife's, painting. Try to get some brownie points.
That's quite good of you right there. All right,
you willing to sell it for Elite Series entry fees next year?
Yeah, it's actually going for $5,000 right now.
One entry fee right there for the low cost of $5,500 right there.
Yeah, I'll get her painting some more. That's the case.
Has anybody ever wore sublimated pants?
Yeah, just embroidered. Remember all the Skeeter guys back in the day had the bell
I'm
bottom?
talking sublimation.
I have seen them. I have a picture of some dude from a long time ago at a BFL who had the hoodie matched the pants. There was the same material.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Kyle Troop does in bowling.
Yeah. It looked ridiculous.
By the way, did you see how ridiculous the pants were that Ike wore when he did his My World with Kyle Troop?
Would you expect anything different?
Oh, he was styling, man. It was.
Kyle Troop is the style-wise isn't he like the Ike of the bowling world?
Yeah, pretty much.
But then
his dad was too. His dad wore crazy stuff back in the 70s. Anyway, that might be something to look into, Justin.
I would just stick with the normal. You already hang out with Patrick Walters. He's got the lack of pants thing down on lock. Yeah. So,
how about sublimated shorts? Anybody ever done that?
Once again, I think this is a case where less is more.
Okay.
Not lengthwise, but sublimation-wise.
All right.
I just don't see that taking off.
Don't tell Patrick less is more, please.
I just don't see that. I just don't see sublimated shorts on bass fishing as the next big thing.
Well,
you're the anti-sublimation guy. Now you're pushing.
I'm just wondering if anybody's ever done it. I don't think they have.
I mean, I've got those pair of Afcos that have like the sunline on the front, the little thing, but you're talking like a whole pattern thing.
Yeah. Just like Kyle Troop.
No, I think that would look really like you're trying way too hard. Because then you've got to put the jersey on over it, and then you've got pattern on pattern.
I don't know. We'll see who is the first one to do that.
I mean,
somebody's going to do it.
Yeah, you've got Patrick. You've got Austin Felix, who wears the pajama bottoms.
Rojas in his Dickies.
Yeah, Rojas used to wear the Dickies with the frog logo. Guy Aker, who I ran into at Norman, got a picture with him. Actually, the pressed slacks, that's like a thing. Like that's the Kevin Van Dam black pants.
Yeah. Clay is saying that Randy Howe did it at the Classic that Edwin won at Grand Lake. I don't remember that. Maybe he did. I don't know, but might become a trend. Anyway, don't go with the baggy pants or the supplemented shorts there, Justin. All right.
if sponsors are willing to, if they want it, we can make it happen.
What are you going to sell, the right cheek?
Why not? Where's the camera at most of the time? It's on your backside.
I've been telling Patrick he needs to, one of the sponsors has got to get on his thigh.
Just a thigh tattoo?
Yeah, just a thigh tattoo. I feel it gets a lot of airtime.
That would. Yeah. All right. Justin, great stuff, man. Thanks for finally coming on the show. And I know we're going to look forward to 2022, getting updates. Every tournament on the Elite Series next year right here on BTL. And the fans will definitely look forward to that. So
absolutely. That's going to be fun.
Cool stuff, and we will get it cranked up early in 2022 on that. We'll try to have you on prior to the start of the season to where we set it up again. But
for the Classic? We can get him on before the Classic?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to be my dark horse pick.
Well, I don't think he's a dark horse.
Well, I mean, I know, but there's going to be like Hank and all these guys and South Carolina guys.
You be the odds guy. Right now, for Justin.
Based on your odds?
Yeah. What would you put him at?
7-1.
That's not bad.
That's good.
I think you're in the ballpark there.
Yeah. I put my money on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hypothetical.
If you were at 7-1 and Vegas was taking money on that.
And it was legal.
Would you put $5,000 on yourself at 7-1?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, see, I like the confidence.
For entertainment purposes only.
Hypothetically, I actually had $5,000.
Yeah, we have to preface that by saying strictly for entertainment purposes only. All right,
I'll Venmo you.
Yep.
You're gonna come out with the way too early Classic odds?
No,
we don't even know who else qualified yet.
No, I'm not doing that. No, we will do it the same way we've done.
Hey, Rivette got in though, because the guy who just won this Open hadn't fished them all.
Yeah. That's right.
So who's next on the list then? I don't know. There's two lists. There's the Angler of the Year list, and then there's the Classic list.
I don't know. All right, Justin. Great stuff, man.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much. I can't wait, and I can't thank you enough for this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
All right. Cool stuff, man. We will talk to you soon. Be safe.
Absolutely. Y'all too.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. See you.
See ya.
There you have it. Justin Hamner. Good dude, man.
Yeah, mellow.
Yeah.
I feel like he has the personality to be able to just roll with whatever happens and make it work.
No, I agree. He's stick too, man.
Do you think,
catch him.
Personality-wise, based on what you've seen, and you've seen a lot of guys come and go and a lot of guys stick around.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a personality that is suited to excelling in professional bass fishing, particularly earlier in your career, would you go, high excitement, motivation, take the momentum and roll with it? Would you go with the laid back, nothing bothers you? Because there's guys in both. But just based on your opinion, what is the ideal personality makeup to succeed in this industry and in this sport?
Okay, I will answer that question by asking you a question. Give me one name of an individual who has never earned a BP Top 150 or a Bassmaster Elite Series title, but has won Angler of the Year, but is making and has made a very, very good living simply because of his personality.
Gerald Swindle.
That's it. I mean, he is the ultimate dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could put Ike in that category, but obviously Ike has had, title after title, wins, Angler of the Years, won the nation, did everything he could. Oh, here.
Mark's got to sign some stuff for
he needs a signature
plumbing.
here.
Sorry, fellas.
Is it all good to go? All good to go. All right.
You know, like a couple weeks ago when Mark was struggling with everyday life, this thing he just signed here, plumbing is now fixed, right?
Yeah, look, you're getting some free pub there.
Oh, check it out. You didn't let the cats out, did you?
No, the cats are good, right? Cats are good. All right.
Do you see both of them? Right that one's like 27 years old. How old is that one?
It's 17.
17 years old.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Didn't see him once.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, man.
See you guys.
All right. Got that fixed. That was kind of unexpected.
That's good. That's positive. That's two positive things. The top 10 on the Carolina rig and your plumbing's fixed.
That was pretty funny.
What was wrong with your plumbing?
Well, I finally got sod into the area that was being
Well, we did, in all fairness,
away.
tell him we were doing a podcast, which typically does not include visual along with it.
Yeah.
So he was just like, hey, we're on. I can come over and get signed.
He didn't know the camera was there. That's all right.
I think he had strict instructions, too, like do not leave houses without getting paid.
Well, that's what happens when you get burned in the past.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, man, is there anyone who can get paid today? And Mark's like, yeah, we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Y'all, everything all good?
Yeah. Now I don't have to run the hose from the front of the house all the way to the backyard. I had to go buy 200-foot hoses to get that done. Because you have to put water on sod.
That's a lot of hose, Jeffrey.
Yeah, it's tangle-free hose, too. Does not wrap up, and get all knotted up and all that. Tangle-free hose.
Did we
Anyway,
ever? Okay, so
Swindle.
you named Ike
Swindle.
and you named Swindle, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about like start out of your career. If you had to pick a perfect personality, would you rather have excitable and roll with momentum and grab it and go,
Yeah.
or would you rather have slow and steady? Are you a tortoise or the hare? I guess is the better way if you're going to put it in a what is that, a parable?
All right, I'm going to give you a tortoise name. Derek Remitz.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't say a whole lot. Did a lot of action with his rod and reel. Did a lot of action on the water, but then kind of developed this moxie off the water to where he developed a pretty substantial fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good one?
Yeah.
Think so? All right. Then back, I'm going a little ways back on this one. A guy who did have success on the water, but fans during this period of time really gravitated to him, and that's Mark Davis. When Mark Davis won back-to-back, and he won the Classic and the Angler of the Year, he was with Falcon Rods. He was with Bass Cat then. That was kind of during the TNN days to where the demand for Mark Davis was enormous when he had that success. He was, kind of just that good guy that was having a tremendous amount of success, but did a very, very good job at just being himself.
Mm-hmm.
And the people could relate to that. So that's a guy who really was a combination of both.
I'll tell you one that I think the laid back, and it was in the same era of when Remitz came in, is Casey Ashley.
Yeah.
Remember when he won on Smith Mountain? We were both there. It was his fourth tournament. He was just like, cool.
Yeah.
What now? He was super mellow. Would you not agree that, through the Classic and all that stuff and everything that's gone on with him, like he's one of those that's super, and Jordan Lee. I ask you this because it seems like those guys that have the laid back, mellow, roll with it, kind of inner confidence, seem to do better earlier in their careers and set themselves up for longevity from a fishing perspective better. So like Jordan Lee.
No, that's a good point.
Think of Jordan Lee.
Good point.
Think of Bradley Roy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these guys, it seems, now a guy who like gets really queued up like big time that comes to my mind is Chris Lane. And remember, he struggled a lot time
until he won
up
the
and
Classic.
down, but then he won 5 I think 5 or 6 years in a row he'd win a tournament. And we got pow and bang and wow and woo and all these crazy moments from Chris Lane.
Yeah.
But that's like a roller coaster up and down. Like, don't you feel like he struggled to get that footing until he had the kneeling on the classic stage with the pow fish?
Yeah. There's a lot of people that struggle, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of part of the MO, being involved in this game, and especially trying to go through the trials and tribulations of the peaks and valleys. You
But
mentioned
those
it.
Alabama guys, I mean, dude, I could keep going. Jesse Wiggins, low key. Remember he came on? He won like 4 everything when he first came out.
Yeah.
Michael Neal, he's young. He's like 30 years old too.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, cool, Angler of the Year. That's nice.
You know who another guy that has made a really, really good living in this industry, but yet to have a title? And that's Bernie Schultz.
Yeah, he's been around a long time.
He's been around a long time, but Bernie is so professional and so good at doing what he does that's why he's in demand.
And Seth Feider, you got to throw Seth Feider in. But then look at the flip side. I mean, I would also put Jacob Wheeler in really high strung.
Yeah.
I would put Justin Lucas really high strung.
Both very successful on the water.
Like
though.
I said, you can look at, but it just seems as a whole, younger in their career, getting established on the water, catching them, not making the sponsor dollars, that kind of low, laid back, step by step, take what comes and roll with it.
How about Clark Wendlandt?
Now, I don't remember Clark. I mean, I'm a little young to remember Clark.
Hey, he was dominant on the FLW
when he
tour.
First got into the scene.
I mean, he donated to the 401k just because of what he did on Beaver Lake.
James Elam, he's another dude. Put Bertrand in there. They're real. It's methodical. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
It's interesting. There's something that works for that. Because I'm trying to figure out how I can make it work. Because I'm not that way. I'm definitely more personality-wise, more like in the Lucas camp.
Okay, I will say this, since you went down there, and then we're going to take a break, come back, and wrap it up with Matt's discussion on his fine finish this past week.
Ike, well listen, we got to finish this. We got to. KVD is high strung as it gets, though.
He is.
He's in the camp.
He's not at the Ike level,
though. But I couldn't imagine when he came on as a youngster.
Yeah.
In the jean vest with the sponsors and stuff. Like, dude, he had to be 1,000,000 miles a minute. Same with Skeet. Skeet.
Yeah.
Major blow-ups, freak it out, roll with momentum. I mean, you see what I'm saying,
right.
though?
You're right. I get it.
But it seems like all the guys, anyway.
All right, speaking of Ike, I got to tell you this, and I was waiting to tell you this for when you were in the studio. I talked to Becky and I talked to Ike when we were trying to get some stuff set up for Ike Live, and then I was talking to Ike about Kyle Troop because I want to try and get Kyle Troop on the show. And
but he's a professional bowler, just to recap that.
I asked Ike, I go, dude, be honest with me now. How would you rate Matt's meltdown? And he starts cracking up. And he goes, Mark, totally 100% honest. It was one of the top 5 meltdowns I've ever seen on what went down.
This wasn't on air? This was off air?
This is off air.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He said it was epic. He said the 4-letter words that were being spewed and the stuff that was being thrown around.
I'm not proud of this, by the way, folks.
Was epic.
And I will point out
he might even be top 3.
That since that time, I have gone 2 checks, and I didn't have a co-angler the first day at Norman, but the last 3 co-anglers that I've had, I feel like
that's good, man.
We're very accommodating too.
That's good. That's good. But
top 3 that he's ever seen, and that includes himself.
He said, man. Yes. That's what he said. He said, I was very proud of him.
Well, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not proud of it.
But you learned from it.
Yeah.
All right. Did you not?
Oh,
that's the important.
I don't think I would have had the last 2 good opens had it not been for releasing that inner energy.
Yeah. It was pretty epic in his realm of things when it comes to meltdowns. So,
I got to mention also one of the cool things on that Hall of Fame auction.
Yeah.
I talked with John Sukup, and he is donating a live scope giant bass fishing trip in Oklahoma.
To learn?
Yeah, now you got to get here, but if you're from the area and you can come here, the current bid's
That's
only
money.
at $620. But like if you want to learn about forward-facing sonar or settings or see how he does it, and because we've had him in the studio, I would put him as one of the top 10 in the world right now doing it.
I agree.
You get a whole day out there to grill, to fish with them, to do whatever you want. That, and you're donating to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. Like I've always told John, I was like, dude, you could charge $1,000 a day and be booked.
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, it's that valuable in one day. All my live scope stuff and forward-facing sonar stuff and electronic stuff and how I set up my Lowrances and all that is because of that's what John does.
Yeah, he's good, man.
So you can get on there. Like I said, the current bid there is $621, and it's getting that time of the year where one day with a guy who knows something like that will benefit you for years to come if that's one of the avenues that you want to go down.
Great point. All right, we're going to take a break, come back, wrap things up with Matt, talk a little Lake Norman and his great finish over the weekend. So everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I've made my living on the water for over 20 years.
For 14 years.
For over 23 years. I've worn a bunch of different clothing brands over the years.
Some companies big.
And some companies small. All of them said they were making clothing for us. But none of them knew us.
None of them were us.
Except for one.
Except for one.
Except one. AFCO. AFCO.
AFCO. AFCO.
Fishing isn't part of us. It is us.
Everyone, Brandon Polnick here. People always be asking me what I got tied on. And I'm like, X-Zone Lures. And they're like, Brandon, why you got X-Zone Lures tied on? And I'm like, let me show you why.
The bite.
Get out of there. Get out of there. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's freaking big. Get in here. Oh, God. Giant. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
I think you get the point.
Pro-inspired, pro-designed, tested and proven by legends on the water, dominating the tournament trail for over 50 years. Everything you need, one legendary brand. Strike King.
Hey guys, Major League Fishing Pro, Jacob Wheeler here with my new Signature Series line of rods with Duck It Fishing. We have my 7.2 cranking rod right here. Crankbaits can be very fickle, and having the right, having a lot of tip can be too much, and having not enough tip can, lose a lot of fish. So you really got to be careful. If there's one or two techniques that I'm really adamant about having the perfect action is a crankbait, especially like the square bill, a DT6, those medium running crankbaits in the springtime when those fish's mouth are pretty tough. That's when I'm really on top of having my actions just perfect.
The Little John family of crankbaits designed by top tour pro John Cruz have excelled at catching bass in any condition for years. They all feature a flat-sided design and paint jobs that are seldom seen in mass production bait. The Little John family also expands with new rattling versions of the Little John 50 and Little John 50 MD. Both of these baits are proven fish catchers that will now be available in rattling versions for stained and muddy water. They feature the same great action and diving depths as the original 50 and MD sizes.
The Ned Rig. What rod should I be using with the Ned Rig? My favorite is the Denali Lithium multi-spin rod. It's our 7'4" length, great Ned Rig rod. It's got a great sensitive tip on it. It's long enough where I can make long casts, which you're usually fishing clear water with a Ned Rig, and it's got enough backbone to get those fish in. So check it out, Denali Lithium Series 7'4" multi-spin.
All right, we are back. is our first show with Matt back in studio, and it is that time for him to discuss the success that he had at Lake Norman and anything else that he wants to talk about. So the floor is yours, man.
This will be a quick one, Mark.
Okay.
It was just business as usual.
All right.
I went, I dinked, I dunked, I drop shotted, I Ned rigged, I wacky wormed, I fished docks, I fouled brush piles. I talked with Frank before I went. He said, here's 3 or 4 areas where I've always caught them and they catch them. They're the 3 or 4 biggest creeks on the lake.
Mm-hmm.
I just went and fished a ton of docks and found some docks that had them. I watched a lot of Brian Thrift. I realized that this is not a camping out lake. You got to move. I found that when you caught one, they pulled out with you, and that you averaged about a 3-pounder every 20 bites. So I went with a lot of bites. It was all spotted bass. I ignored the largemouth. I thought I could do between 10 and 12 a day. I did 12 the first day. I never got the bites on the second day.
Mm-hmm.
And I did 8 pounds on the second day.
So what was the difference on day one? What did you have on day one?
I had 12 pounds. So here's the difference on day one. I had a couple docks that I knew had good fish on them. And I caught about a 3 1/4 and a 3.5 pounder off of those 2 docks. On day 2, I jumped off a 2.5, 2 3/4 first thing in the morning. That would have got me into the finals, but the dock that in practice I caught one almost 4, and in the tournament I caught one 3.5 on the other side, and they were different fish, and those fish were gold on Norman. I said, obviously there's something about this, and on day 2 I catch a 13-incher under it, and when I bring it back in, there's 3 or 4 between 3 and 4 pounds trying to get the worm out of its mouth.
Oh, jeez.
So what I learned was there's schools of these big fish under these specific docks. And then I went back to where I lost the 2 3/4, and I pitch in there at like 2, and I hook a 13-incher, and there's 2 4-pounders trying to get the worm out from its mouth.
Yeah.
So the only difference between day 1 and day 2 was I got 2 of those good ones to bite and put them in the boat, and executed well. I will say it was really cool. So Zach Pringle's he's from that area, and he just recently started bass fishing a couple years ago. 1.5, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But really cool dude. And, Brad sat out the Southern so he could focus on the Centrals, and I didn't really have a place to stay there. And he had said, hey, man, I got a place to stay if you want. So Andrew and I actually stayed at his place. Very accommodating, had a great time with Zach. Actually went out with him before the cutoff on Saturday and Sunday, and it was cool because he wasn't one of those dudes who was like, no, this is where you'll catch him, and this is where. He's like, man, I've only done this for 1.5 years, but I have caught a fish here, but if you don't think it looks good, stay away from it. But, one of the places that he showed me, I caught one fish in the tournament off of it, and it was a key fish, so it was really cool to stay with Zach, and he just was kind of wanting to see how it went down and how we approach it, and it was exactly what I expected. The dinking and dunking worked. I was able to get in a 20-mile, 10-mile, 10 to 15-mile stretch, run specific stuff, and yeah, I finished 21st.
Did you catch a lot of fish?
I caught like 25 keepers on the first day, and I caught 7 keepers on the second day.
Wow, just 7.
Yeah, it was weird.
What changed?
One, I don't think you can rerun stuff. It's really hard to rerun stuff on that lake. The fish, it takes a long time for them to set up. On day 1, there were a lot of guys that were offshore on shoals and brush piles, and I could run all my spots that I had gotten bit. And I mean, I spent a lot of time fishing and shaking fish off. And I could pull up and get bit off of them. And I had saved one whole arm or half because I knew I was having a decent day. On day 1, I had 10.5 pounds. I had 14 minutes left. I set my alarm on my phone because I didn't want to be late. And I pull up, an eighth of a mile from the boat ramp. I could see it, and I was like, I know I've got 10 pounds. I might just go in. I'm like, why am I going to go in? I said, that was a fluke. What happened? I said, I've got time to make one more stop. And I caught a largemouth off of this dock, 1 3/4 pound, a 2-pound largemouth in practice. Well, I had a 1.5 pounds, a 156 in the box. I said, maybe I'll upgrade. And I'm pitching it, and my phone goes, doo-doo-doo-doo, so I know it's time to go in. And as that happens, I hook a 3/6 spot.
Oh, jeez.
And it gets wrapped around a post, and it goes down and gets stuck in a pallet, and I'm watching the whole thing, and the phone's going off the whole time, and I scoop it in, and I was by myself, and I was just like, holy cow, I've got a really good bag now. No, I don't think it was a fluke. It wasn't. I knew those fish were around.
Yeah.
I knew it was just it just so happened it happened at the end of the day. It wasn't like a magic call or anything.
Yeah.
And I chucked the 1.5 pounder and put the 3.6 in, and that's how I ended up with 12. But I would have been in 35th without that fish.
Yeah.
So I just thought it would happen again the second day, and it didn't. So here's what I think happened. I think a lot of guys had 8 pounds on the brush piles and the shoals and stuff like that. So then they switched it up, as they should, going, well, I need a bigger bag. So then they went to the docks. The docks that I had saved, I got in a really good rotation on the first day. I never pulled up. There was no one on my docks. I could tell the way the fish were set up on the poles and the docks that they hadn't been jacked with. On day 2, I went to the other side of the lake, and I was like, I'm going to fish my new stuff that I had saved. And those fish had gotten blasted, and there were boats around it. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll go back and run the best of the stuff that I had from day 1, and those fish weren't set up right, and they were nipping at the bait. I had like 10 that just pulled off. I'd get the worm. I wouldn't hook into them. A lot of guys had that issue on day 2. There were a lot of boats on it, so like if some boat was on the other pocket, granted, he might have not specifically been to the dock I was running to, but he fished through it, and that scattered the school. So they just didn't look right set up. Then I started running new stuff. That I had wanted to fish but didn't get a chance to. Did that for a couple hours, didn't get. It's just a struggle. I was proud to have 8 pounds and finish 21st and lose points in the Angler of the Year race somehow.
Well, that was my next question. So with 2 events remaining, how is everything setting up for you?
Not good.
Yeah, but you only had 1 event on the Centrals, right?
Yeah, I was 48th, so I would have to definitely top 10 in the Centrals. So here's the deal. I need to top 20 to have a shot going into Grand at all, but my whole goal is not to have to rely on someone else, right? Like, you want your destiny in your hands. Like, if you catch them, you go to the Elite Series. Not if you catch them and 2 guys suck, you go to the Elite Series.
Okay.
Which is kind of what it's shaping up to be. So, unfortunately, I don't think Porosnik would have fished the rest of the tournaments if he had qualified through the Northerns or the Southerns. I think he would have stopped fishing.
He's leading, right?
Yeah, but he's leading the overall.
Yeah.
But he didn't catch him really good the last 2. He still finished top 60s, but he just didn't qualify through the Northerns or the Southerns, so now he's got to fish the Centrals. So if he had stopped fishing them with 3 left, then we would all pass him, and it would have gone down to 4th. Tommy Williams, I talked to him. I kind of wish I hadn't talked to him because I was like, there's no way Tommy's going to keep catching them. And then after I talked to him, he's like, man, if I can get through this one, Alabama and Grand are my wheelhouse. And I'm like, oh, that's pleasant. So he's not wishing anyone bad luck. You know what I mean?
Oh, jeez.
But he's in 2nd. And then sometimes you just get the sense that it's that guy's time. And I know Sam George looks like he's 15, but he's been doing it forever.
Yeah.
And he's going to Alabama, and he's been on Grand, and he's fishing with confidence. His last 3 finishes are 3rd, 27th, and 15th. And so he's in 3rd with a 1,111. And then you've got the 2 Japanese anglers that are going to a spotted bass fishery at Grand Lake when it's tough, and then Andy Rebar, and then me. So there's,
things can happen.
Yeah. I got to keep moving up. I've gone from 15th to 13th to 11th to 8th.
But you moved up. But
I moved up, but the distance, I'm like 80 points behind Sam George.
Yeah, it
so
stayed
that's
the
40.
same.
So if Sam George catches him and Tommy Williams and Porosnik catches him, there's no way I'll qualify. Like, there's no way I can, even with 2 top 10s, right?
Right.
So their destiny is in their own hands.
Yeah.
I've got to catch them, and then, it's not a given. 200 boat field.
Well, especially that time of the year.
200 boat field in the fall,
Yeah.
high pressure, multi-species lake, and then go to Grand Lake after it's just been obliterated by 3 weeks for the 3 biggest tournaments that have ever been on it outside of an Elite Series or a tour event.
Yeah.
But I've got to just keep my part up, keep grinding, and not worry about the points. But if you know me and have listened to BTL, I worry about the points. I know every single point and every single possibility and statistic that could go down.
You are the point guy. Points are important.
I don't know. How do you do it in bowling?
What do you mean?
Do you go out and say, I'm just trying to make it to the finals, I'm trying to make it to the next round?
It depends on who you are.
Because before the season, I've talked with you and a bunch of people about it. My whole goal was stay in it till Grand. Have a shot when you get to Grand. whether it's in the Centrals, whether it's in the overalls.
Yeah,
just
you're doing that.
Have a shot.
You're doing that.
I've got to get through Smith.
Yeah, have a shot.
I got to get through Smith first. So if I can get through Smith
yeah, but
with
that's
a
your
shot,
jam, though.
Right, but it's still 200 boats in a Bassmaster Open. This is... That's what I'm saying. The guys who are doing it make it look ridiculously easy. It is insanely hard. For me.
Yeah.
Like Norman, and I don't mean this in a way, Norman was the easiest open check I've ever cashed. Because I was 10th. I had a big time cushion. It only took 17. I only needed like 6 pounds on the second day.
And you were catching them.
And I was catching them.
Yeah.
But it was still really, really tough. Like I go in that like not knowing how to catch a 3-pounder and just going, if I go through as many fish as I'm going through, I'm thinking there'll be 3s. But I just as easily could have had 8 pounds on the first day and 8 pounds on the second day like all the rest of the guys did and go, well, how do you catch a 3-pounder out here and finish 70th? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was easy because I put myself in the right position and capitalized on the opportunities.
Yeah.
But I had 3 fish in the boat at 4 p.m. and checked in at 6. So it wasn't easy on the second day.
No, I get it. But the style and what you like to do, that kind of, it's your jam, as you say.
Mm-hmm. But I'm also realistic with it. Like, if those 3 guys keep catching them, it's a good year, but I'm looking ahead to 2022.
Yeah.
If there's a couple guys that stumble and I happen to have a good finish at Smith, then we go into Grand Lake with a lot ahead of me.
Yeah, how much time have you spent on Grand Lake, though, recently?
Recently, not as much as I should. I've spent most of my time on Grand Lake in the Poe Dunkers every fish counts 1-pounder heavier.
That's your jam.
And I've won several of those out there. But the problem is my 5 bass limit in those weighs about 9.5 to 10 pounds.
Yeah. Which might be good. I mean, Grand is fickle this time of the year. You know, Sean, we had Sean Goodwin on yesterday. He was talking about there were several guys that had over 30 pounds 2 days at the BFL 2-day tournament, but there were a lot of guys that did not do well. But to have that many guys exceed 30 pounds over 2 days this time of the year at Grand was kind of out of the norm.
Mm-hmm.
He said they were munching, though.
I've learned the key is avoid the triple-digit finishes. So Porosnik, he's leading it. This is what you can study and learn, which then affects how you fish the tournaments, right? So his lowest finish is a 59th, and he's leading. But he only he has 2 top 10s, but he's got a 43rd, a 31st, a 35th, a 50th, a 59th.
Just don't put the stinker up there.
Right.
Yeah.
Tommy Williams, 86th, 15th, 27th, 7th, 47th, 45th, 56th. He's got no triple digits, right?
Yeah.
They're 1-2. Like, it's not like they're finishing in the top 20 every time. There's 50s and 60s in there. But what don't they have? Triple digit. Then Sam George has a 134th.
Triple.
Daisuke has a 153rd.
Yeah.
Matsushita has a 138th. John Garrett has a 109th. And we all just have 1. This is just 1, right?
Yeah.
Rebar has a 190th.
Not good.
And I've got 111th. It's that one, and that's still top half of the field. These are 200 boat, 190 to 220 boat fields.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing how, in all honesty, I'm looking back on it, and that 111th was in Florida. It was day 1 of the first Open of the frickin' year, Mark.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I get it.
I've got 9 events ahead of me, and I come in with 8 pounds on day 1.
In Florida.
And I'm already digging out of a massive hole for the next 8 months.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works. It's so weird how that works.
But you've done a good job doing it.
I've had fun. I've appreciated all the comments, texts, support. Mark, I really appreciate you letting me leave for weeks at a time and focus on the fishing. And
yeah, it's all good, man. A lot of people pulling for you. I'm pulling for you. I'm sure. When are you leaving for Smith?
Friday.
And then it starts the following Thursday.
Correct.
All right. So you'll have plenty of time to take care of business there. And then you're back that next week, correct?
Yes.
After Smith. And then Grand isn't until...
Grand is like the 16th.
Of October?
Of October. So here's the deal. So Smith will be What, today's the 28th?
First week of October, is that right?
So Smith, I believe, would be the 30th, the 1st, and the 2nd.
No, that's not true. That's this week.
Smith is
the weekend of OU Texas, the 9th and 10th.
Friday. Today's the 28th?
Yeah.
Oh, so Smith is the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yeah, that's OU Texas weekend.
Then I believe Grand, is that the 14th, 15th, and 16th?
It's the very next week.
I'm going to look at the schedule. This would be helpful to know since I'm in.
I thought you might have that one penciled in.
No, it's October 21st and 23rd.
All right, so you got a couple of weeks.
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
If I'm in it to win it, I might want to hibernate for a week.
That's fine, man.
I mean, just for that one.
Yeah.
Do you not think that you think that would be good or
It
bad?
depends on what you want to do, man. It depends on your style. That's all on you. That is one of those things that you hear me talk about it a lot. Control what you can control. That you can control. So that just depends on what's in your wheelhouse.
But do I really
man.
want to be out there practicing on Grand during the U.S. Open qualifier for the Johnny Morris deal with 200 teams? Like
everything else that's going on up there. This time of the year, it gets pounded.
Or do you just go and say, okay, I fished Grand enough. I know what they're supposed to be doing. I don't want to know what they're doing because of the pressure and the that the lake is going through and how the lake changes and how bait dependent they are this time of the year. And I just go in the 3.5 days, I get a feel for it, and I go fish my gut in the tournament. And not what they were doing last week before that dock got hit 95 times or before the shad moved off at that point.
Well, if it was me, I would go.
Yeah.
And I may not make a cast, for a long period of time. But I would definitely want to check out stuff that I believe is going to set up the way that things should set up based upon previous history. Then, when you get ready to truly, quote-unquote, practice, you see if those places are going to be productive. Here's the problem, and you tell me if you agree or disagree with this. This time of the year, especially on Grand Lake, it really hurts to hook fish a day or 2 days before the tournament begins.
I agree because a lot of the fish are resident fish.
Yeah. And it seems like it's the typical thing, dude. Nobody wins practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a call you got to make.
There's certain areas of that lake to me where it makes absolutely no sense to even practice.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Especially this time of the year.
Like that you're going to fish that. It does not matter whether you got a bite, whether you caught 2, whether you shook 5 off.
No, I agree. And I think this time of the year, the people that have put in the time and effort to find what I call the gems, you find that special spot that is not one of the... I mean, Grand has a zillion community holes. You know that.
Yeah.
And yes, sometimes those community holes pay off. There's been tournaments that have been won on community holes. But this time of the year, it's those gem spots that really pay dividends because they don't get pounded because the lake is getting pounded. And it's going to get pounded.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's cool. When are we going to start hearing about basketball?
Probably not until football's over.
Like, are you guys practicing and all that stuff?
We just have our off-season workouts. Because most of the players...
I thought right now was this season.
No. Officially it doesn't start until October 1st, but most of our impact players... I mean, we have some impact players now, but the vast majority, when you go to put in an offensive and defensive schemes, most of those players are still playing football. Football's doing really well. So
I would be interested. That's a good idea. I would be interested. I've never listened to music or podcasts or anything on the water. I mentioned that someone's like, "Hey, well, you're graphing, like listen."
You like nature.
This.
You like to hear.
I've
the
never been a guy
right?
who puts anything on, like unless I'm crappie fishing with a buddy and throw some music on. But
the
as
earbuds?
far as like, no,
dude, I would be afraid that those things are gonna fall out and go in the water.
No, I mean even with the cord, I see guys that'll idle pass and they have their earbuds in, or they're listening to music. Kelly Jordan's a monster when it comes to listening to the music. Although he actually believes it's like a hydro wave. But it's just one of those things I've never gotten into, never been, and it's not. I have nothing against it.
Yeah.
Like a other day, Norman, a guy idled past, and he was listening to music. And I was like, I should listen to music.
You should. But
then I
we've
went another
had this conversation
11 hours in silence.
You're not into the whole music thing, though.
I'm serious. Like every tournament, I'm like, oh, this is the one that he's going to struggle with. Nope, another top 10. He's seen, what'd you have today, Sam? 9 pounds. I mean, the kid's catching him.
Yeah.
It's his time. He's been putting his time in, his money, his effort. I mean, he deserves it.
Yeah.
Same with Daisuke and Masayuki and John Garrett. There's another college angler.
Yeah. So good to have you back, even though it's one day. So you're headed to the Hall of Fame.
There's a meeting tomorrow, and then I'm like helping set up, and then the deal's on Thursday. I'm going to edit the Thousand Islands video and the Lake Norman video, and probably just put one of them out today and the other one out in a couple days, and then be caught up on all those.
All right. Well, it's good to have you back in studio. Hopefully we'll talk to you next week, maybe next Tuesday or Wednesday. Give the fans an update from Smith Lake in Alabama. And
you done
we'll
bowling
go
for
there.
a while?
Next PBA event is in November. I do have a couple of events in October down in Dallas. They're
Go
not
put the work in.
PBA.
Learn that new
Oh, dude, I'm all over.
A-rig of bowling.
I already have equipment ordered. Should be here this week sometime. It's a game changer, dude.
Must be nice. Just get that equipment and start rolling strikes. All you got to do is show up to the lanes.
Doesn't happen that way, my
Just
friend.
show up to the lanes with the new equipment and you catch them.
No, it does not happen that way. Anyway, big thanks once again to Justin Hamner. Looking forward to what he's going to do in 2022 with us. And don't forget about the auction. Make sure you check it out. Come on, you want to spend a day with him? You want to spend an evening with me and him?
And then a day in the studio.
And then be in the studio the following day. We got that covered for you. So everybody be safe. That's it. We are out of here.